Hi and welcome to this quick unboxing of my 2016 Linux gaming build. It's the Linux and gaming rig that I mentioned in my last video. So without further ado, let's get started. So the box just arrived as of 15 minutes ago, and bear with me, I'm going to be cutting the box open off screen. Here we go. So let's have something up on screen straight away. So this is the Corsair Ballistic 16 gig kit. For the initial boot up test and all that, I'm just running it as with 2 sticks. So this is dual channel basically. I'll be ordering another 16 gig kit, and that will then make it a quad channel setup. So that's the first item out of the box. Ooh, this is a fantastic piece of kit. Back in my day, these weren't around. This is an M.2 NVMe SSD, which is the Samsung 950 Pro. And this is a 256 gig stick. It's no taller than it's about the same size as one of these DIMMs really, and it's super fast. It does about 2,000 megabytes per second, 5-year warranty. So that's going to be the boot drive essentially. So let's go to the next piece that's here. It's the 850 Pro. This is a regular SSD drive. This is a 512 gig. Sleek packing. This is the first time I'm seeing one of these. 10-year warranty. No complaints there, I suppose. Yeah, it's got this vertical 3D NAND technology in how they're now designing transistors in the 3D space rather than just being 2D doping of silicon, which is pretty impressive stuff. This is, I just picked the best available thermal grease. I haven't done, and they include a pack of grease cleaner. That is fabulous. And I normally go for, if you refer up Linus Tech Tips, his series is fantastic, his channel is fantastic, and they did a clip comparing different options of how you can apply this: the P, the straight line, the longer line, or the X, like X-Men style. Given the size of the heatsink, I would probably do the X, just to be on the safe side. Their testing found, well, not found, it just showed that too much thermal grease doesn't cause any issues as long as you are a bit pragmatic and don't this is a bit worrying. This box has got crushed a bit. And oh wow, see, it has survived. This is the Intel i7. It's a 6-core. This is actually the lowest end 6-core, which is the 40-lane CPU. There's one lower than this, I think it's a 6000K, and that's not a 40-lane CPU. But the reason I went for this, it's because the two other options from this is an 8-core or a 10-core. Because this is going to be for gaming as well, and for gaming the number of cores isn't important. It's basically the highest clock speed. So this, as I recall, is a 3.6 gigahertz. And these are easily overclockable to about 4 gigahertz per core. And with the water cooling setup I've gone for, I'm just actually double checking that this is alright. Seal is in place. Actually, I'm going to break the seal because I want to. It's conflict free as well. Wow. Well, since it's made in China, I suppose. I mean, or is this made in Malaysia? Okay, so that's conflict free for sure. I just want to double check that the CPU itself isn't damaged in any way. No, it's just the packing has just got crushed a bit. As you can see, the CPU is fine. Oh yeah, just a double check on this side where the pins are. As you can see, it's all hunky-dory. Oh, that's just a beauty. But not pins, sorry, just it's a ball grid array type thing. So it's all just pads basically. So the pins are on the motherboard essentially, on the motherboard socket. Hang on, I'm going to just try and get this booklet back in because it's very hard to get. Okay, here we go. There we go. So that looks alright, which is, I don't think my shipping box has been damaged anyway. I think this is how they were handling it in store, which is kind of horrifying. But then again, it's got plenty of box cardboard around it for that reason, I suppose. They must be chucking them around like, well, the way any postal. Well, they came by DHL courier, but I'm sure they don't treat them with much care. Ooh, so like an idiot, I ordered the second one of these, which is a Edge Router X. I have one already, and I have a tough switch. The customs in Sri Lanka were being total, I'm going to use the English term, wankers, absolute wankers, to prove, they wanted me to prove that this device does not have Wi-Fi or RF. I send them the data sheets off the Ubiquiti website, and then a chap calls asking, basically in the local lingo, does this thing have a thing called IPs inside? So my response should be, what's an IP, as in EYEPEE? No. Yeah, this thing has a lot of IPs inside. You can create your own IPs. Yeah, I'm being totally sarcastic and ticked off because it's just ridiculous. It took essentially a week or more to clear this package, and it's like, basically we had to go to these local government offices, wasting easily 4 days worth of time just to get the documentation through for these government workers essentially. They're directors of the TRC as they are, and they take 1.5 hour lunch breaks. They get to their office in the morning, they have the tea break, then they will read the newspaper for about 1 hour, and they leave their desk and they go home by about 4 p.m. So it took them about 3.5 days to give me a letter to say that this, it's called a no objection letter, to say that they had no objection for me to import this. When I've had 2 of these devices, well, a tough switch, and I had the same issue with tough switch, come through, and I even had an identical one come through about a month ago, and it was released by DHL, and there was no request for a TRC approval. So that's my rant about the ridiculousness of customs in Sri Lanka. So yeah, you guys get a big FU from me. I'm absolutely cheesed off. Right, so that's the Edge router. Fine, so let's move on on a lighter note. Oof, this is no wonder this box, and in the shipping box, is about 12 kilos. That's about 30 pounds, and I can see why. So I might have to move some of this stuff off the desk, but this is the Zotac GTX 1080 Founders Edition. I think a lot of 12-year-old, 14-year-old kids would say this is the holy grail right now. I'm not too fussed. It is basically the top end of the graphics cards right now. And I went for this and a 40-lane CPU, but then people were like, hey, why do you get a 40-lane CPU? You're not doing SLI. Well, I plan to. I just want to get one card in, get my box up and running, and then place an order with the extra bits I need, because I wasn't sure, essentially, as to what else I might need to order once I've got the basic build in. But so this is like the basic stuff I would need to get the system up and running, and I can place another order for the rest of the bits, and I will make 100% sure that nothing in the box has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or any RF devices. And what's nice is in a well, an odd way I suppose, is that this motherboard, yeah, I think things I have to go off the desk again. Sorry about it, but this motherboard, oh, it's heavy. This is like about 3 kilos worth of a box. It is the Asus Sabertooth X99 Tough motherboard. It has dust sealant, so many cool stuff. It's got metal, very heavy metal backplate, so I can put heavy full-length PCI Express cards. And given the kind of environment I'm living in with the humidity and dust, I wanted something that would last a little bit over 2 years minimum. I've had a lot of PCs before and graphics cards would just die after 6 months just due to the kind of conditions we have here. Even though my room is like air conditioned at least 12 hours or even 50, well, even 18 hours per day, sometimes even like 24 hours around. And you can get a quick card. I mean, just check out the website. This is said to be one of quite a good card, quite a good motherboard. A lot of options. There are certainly better ones out there, but it's for the $300 price range. This is a pretty good motherboard. Yeah, I don't think I have. Oh yeah, and here comes a 5-year warranty as well, so that's a nice plus. And I'm gonna grab another heavy box. Oh my gosh, these things are all heavy. I never expected. Well, it explains the 12 kilo. Why this box is 12 kilos? Oh my gosh. So here we go. I'm actually gonna put the motherboard down very carefully because that is heavy, heavy, heavy. I don't want it falling over, so I'm gonna keep an angle. Right. So this is the Corsair H100i version 2. What's called an AIO cooler, which is all-in-one. So basically the pump is part of the CPU block, and the water loop between the radiator, well, this is the fan assembly, but the radiator that's behind it, radiator is right behind it. The radiator and the tubing form the entire reservoir itself. There is no dedicated reservoir. Trying to see if there's any other extra. Oh, here we go. So there's some extra information there. You can see the little graphic of the radiator. I believe these are 200 and hang on. Yeah, these are SP120L. So these are the Corsair 120mm fans, but these are special because there's like a rubber sealing like grommet basically. So the gap between the fan blades and the casing itself is very low, it's minimal basically. So the point is, once these are flush against the radiator, they effectively pressurize the air through the radiator. So you can have 4 of these in a push-pull configuration, which means you would have 2 on one side pushing the air through and 2 on the other side pulling air through. Or I will just go for push configuration to start out in the case. So this is also like 2 kilos worth, the box. These are heavy boxes, surprising. And okay, let's move on to the final heavy box. And this heavy box of heavy boxes, basically. It's a Schrodinger situation we have here right now. Which came first, the heavy box or the heavy box full of heavy boxes? Oh no! Okay, so it's another Corsair product. Whoa. Yeah. This is probably the heaviest of the lot. There we go. Whew. Yeah, it's great. You might be thinking, why am I huffing and puffing? But this is about 3-4 kilos, and I'm just taking it off the floor essentially. This, I'll try and get it in front of there as much as I can. This, I'm going to move some stuff without dropping anything, is the Corsair H1000i, no sorry, HX power supply. It's an 80 rated, I think got a platinum rating, 80 rated efficiency, 80 plus, sorry. It has a 0 RPM feature, which is neat. And what's nice is now all the latest trend in the PC world is the PSUs come with these sockets, whereas the older days the wires are always soldered straight in and they go through into the thing. and so cable management is an absolute nightmare. If you didn't need all the connectors, basically you still have to tuck them away somewhere into the case, whereas here you only plug in what you need, and that way you can, oh, here we go, you can basically use what you need from all the cables that are included. So obviously you need the motherboard connector. In this case I'll probably need the PCIe and the motherboard extra power connectors, but the whole bunch of SATAs and optical drive and those kind of connectors I won't need, because I only have one SSD that's externally fitted, whereas the the 950 Pro Samsung itself will go into the motherboard. There's a small cover and it just sits in there. And well, that's the quick unboxing. This is just a look at the components. The next video I will be doing tomorrow, when, well, maybe actually in a couple hours time. I might not wait till tomorrow, but either today or tomorrow I will get started on the build. And when that happens, I will move to the balcony YouTubing area and commence that work. So I will start off really getting the power supply and the water cooler into the Corsair carbide case. That'll be the first things I start on. Keeping all these small bits aside, because once I get the power supply, the radiator in, I can then get the motherboard fitted into the case, and when I will most likely, I will fit the RAM, so the DIMMs, so basically the DIMMs and the M.2 950 Pro will go into the motherboard before, and of course the PC on the CPU, before I move the whole thing into the case. That is the best way to attack this. I've seen a lot of people who try to do things the other way around. They try to put the motherboard first in, and then they realize, oh, I have to get the the radiator in, and that's not, it doesn't make much sense. I understand that you're going to have the dangling pump area a bit dangling for a bit, but you can basically wrap the dangling pump bit in some bubble wrap or something and just keep it protected and move it out of the way while well, basically when you're installing the motherboard in. So that's my plan of attack, and you've now seen all the bits that have come through. And so thanks for watching. Give me a like, give me your comments, tell me what you think of this build. Quite a few people have already commented on my choice of components. Of course, the initial comments I got was, why are you going for a 40-lane CPU? You could have gone for a cheaper CPU, and why are you going for a single 1080 card rather than two of them for SLI? So my answer to that was, this is just an initial build, and once I've got it all tested, I will run it through probably about a week, well, a couple of days of running Prime 95 and all the stability testing and stuff. And once I'm happy that it's something I can rely on, I will order the extra bit of ballistics RAM, another 16 gig kit. So I'm running 32 gigs, and then I can order a second Zotac, and then run it in SLI config. So that's it for the moment, and yeah, let me know what you think, and until tomorrow's video, thanks again. See you, bye bye.